nationwide series right here. So to get us going, let's go trackside here and join tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as our colors are presented by the United States Army Nashville Recruiting Battalion. Master of Understanding for invocation delivered tonight by Joe Nels, pastor of Family Baptist Church in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Rouse and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the Little E's. Lord, I pray and bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand in for our next step, presented by Davy Flowers.
Good Monday night, everybody. Thanks for coming out to Racing for a Cause TV. My name is Chris. I've got Rick Jr. up in the booth with me tonight. Rick, how you doing, brother?
Hey, brother. Happy Monday evening. I am excited to be back here at the Paperclip once again.
Hey, we had to dust the old screen off, getting ready after a week off of really good action, although we did broadcast TRL Friday night. But man, oh man, have we got a show for you guys tonight. Half a mile track, 28 cars, getting ready to do battle. Oh lordy, and we are getting ready to go. Drivers meeting is down, and qualifying's getting ready to start up. It's the Paperclip, Martinsville. Rick, what are you thinking, brother?
Well, you know, looking at the practice right now, Chris, these guys are getting really loose as they're coming off the corner. This is going to be exciting. Now, we were just here a couple Wednesdays ago in the late models, but this is a whole new machine, a lot more power, a lot more weight, so this is going to get really interesting with 28 drivers taking the field.
It really is, and I can't wait. Let's see here. I guess that's going to fix itself. I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting ready for qualifying, Chris. Here, I'm just sitting here looking at the weather forecast. Right now, it is partly cloudy, 71 degrees. That track temperature, well, this is the reason why they're a little slick, buddy. That track's 97 degrees right now and climbing. The winds are to the northwest, 1 mile per hour, and that relative humidity is sitting at 64.
Yeah, that's going to make for a very warm track as they qualify.
Yeah, it definitely is there. I'm watching a couple guys take it right now, Chris, and you know, one thing that I see is going to be a massive problem is coming into pit road. The speed limit's only 35 here. The pace car is going to be cruising around here under caution, which hopefully we don't have too many, but I'm sure it will happen. The accordion effect is alive and well here at the Paperclip, but that pace car is going to be going around at about 45 miles per hour, so this is going to get really interesting.
Indeed, and keep an eye on the new qualifying board we've got. You can see right now, first 10 cars are on track. Make that 11. Chris Mefford with a 19.56 on the pole so far. We've got a few that haven't come out on track yet, though, so we're going to watch the qualifying, at least the top 15 spots here. And I want to thank Greenaway Productions, Rick Greenaway. Man, has he worked hard in the last week trying to straighten some stuff out, and it is getting ready to go. This is awesome.
Yeah, Greeny's been putting a lot of work into this, Chris. We got a new logo up there for Racing for a Cause TV up there in the top right-hand corner of your screen. He reworked the leaderboard. He reworked the qualifying. So, Greeny, good job, buddy. We appreciate all the hard work. And if anybody out there is looking for any kind of commercial or video work that needs to be done for your league, or if you want something made just as your car for a driver intro type thing for your league or anything else, hit up Rick Greenaway at Greenaway Motorsports Productions. Find them on Facebook.
Lots of exciting action coming at us tonight, and it's going to be brought to you here by Racing for a Cause TV, where we can't thank our viewers enough. Somehow, over the last week, we've gained viewership, we've gained subscribers. Man, we can't thank you enough. We really do appreciate it. We are ready to roll. We are excited for the Paperclip. This race is going to be awesome. 150 laps, the Goody's 150 coming at you very soon, right after qualifying.
Looks like it's going to be really interesting here, Chris. I'm looking at the mechanical issues going on, and there's a lot of guys that are having some issues. Stephen Baker in the number 55 disconnected and reconnected. Ryan Nolan, the number 78. New England clam chowder car, he just disconnected and reconnected. We have Thomas Quattlebaum Jr. in the 34 machine, who qualified 19th, asking for an EOL due to connection issues. So tonight might be a little interesting to see what happens here with that.
Yeah, I've noticed some blinking early on in practice, kind of all the way through practice. There's been some blinking. What that's telling me is the guys are going to have to be extra cautious, not only of the drivers around them, but if somebody blinks, you have to be courteous to the fact that they may pop up in front of you, and if they do, and you try and move into their position, it's going to cause an accident. So hopefully everybody really truly understands how the internet's working tonight. It does look like a little bit of a problem here on iRacing side. Hopefully it's taken care of. But that's it. Qualifying is just about done. Nobody else on track. A couple of guys did not take qualifying.
Yeah, it looks like the 86 for Gerald West and the 93, Nicky Z in that 93 failed to qualify there, Chris. So they'll be starting at the tail end of the field. It's going to be interesting, but man, tonight's pole award, the Racing Career Cause pole award. I'll get better as the night goes on, I promise, guys. This goes to number 44, Chris Mefford. So congratulations to him. It looks like GMR Motorsports has a really good showing here, taking first and second tonight, Chris.
Yeah, that's a great showing. Of course, Ryan Nolan, you see it right there. AJ Rogers, Brian Hacker, Andrew Hill, Chris Meadows, Steve Baker, Eric Driggins, Connor Parisi, Joshua Spalding, Dustin German. Yeah, it's going to get better. Jeffrey Watson, Andy Lambert, John Stevens. That's your top 15. And we see it right there. Pace car is on. Grid's going to start happening. I am ready to roll. And it's going to be great. I'm excited.
I'm really excited too, Chris. We have a couple of returning members tonight coming back out on the track. The number 66 of Phil Otto, he qualified 21st. And also Dylan Blankenship in that number 1 machine qualified, and the last one that qualified, in 26th position. So it's going to be interesting. You went through the top 16. It is a short track, so I'm just going to continue there. We got Brian Beach in the 18, who is starting 16th. JP, Justin Pinnell in the 60 machine is starting 17th. Daryl Ricketts in the 88 is starting 18th. Thomas Caldwell Jr. 19th, but he is asking for an EOL, so he's going to be moving back, and that's going to move all these guys up. Daryl Ricketts, 18, or I'm sorry, I already went through that. Patrick Smith, 75 in 20th position. Phil Otto, 21st, as I said. Earl Simpson in the 07, 22nd. Hilton T. Young in the 37 machine, qualified 23rd. Rick Greenaway, in that number 24 car, qualified, well, 24th. Peyton Johnson coming back, really good driver. I'm excited to see him go around the Paperclip tonight, Chris, in that 85 machine, 25th. And like I said, Dylan Blankenship, 26th. Nicky Z in the 93, 27th. And Gerald West rounding out the field in 28th.
28 cars. Oh, my heart. I don't know if I could take it. We're getting ready to move the cars. Till we do, we're going to take a little break. We'll let you listen to some music. We'll be right back here as the action goes live. We've got one lap to go to get ready for the Goodies 150 here at Martinsville. Chris and Rick up in the booth. We're ready to bring you the action. It's going to be fast. There's going to be a lot of action. I can tell you right now, we may miss a couple of cautions, but we're going to do our best, our very, very best to bring you all of the action. The 44 car Chris Mefford has the pole outside. T. Roy Radford getting ready to do business. And we are off. The race is live. Here we go. Chris Mefford with a good shot. We already have one around on the front stretch, but he is able to... Oh, it causes caution right off the bat. One off right off the get-go. And it's the 3 car.
Yeah, that's the number 3, Chris, of Chad Meadows there.
Chad Meadows not wanting to start the race like that. We'll take a quick peek and see what happened there.
Looks like he got a little bump from behind from the 42 of Eric Driggins.
Well, kind of missed that, but that's okay. It was early on, so we go with it. No big deal. A little bit of damage to that right rear, but you know what? Aerodynamics is not the important thing here. If anything, it's horsepower, and there is plenty of horsepower to be displayed. Chris Mefford is your race leader.
It's going to take him a little while to get it all figured out, Chris. I mean, like I said earlier, the accordion effect is very true here. If you're not paying attention to that guy in front of you, you look off your screen for just 1 second, or grab a drink or anything like that, that car in front of you is going to be right there, and you're not going to have a lot of time to stop. So I think that's pretty much what happened there. I want to give a big shout out to all the viewers right now. We have 21 people watching. I want to say thank you for coming out this Monday night to watch the Racing for a Cause K&N Throw Back series here on Racing for a Cause TV. If you haven't yet, give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what you like about the stream. If there's something that you don't like, let us know. You can give us a thumbs down too if you so wish. But definitely, please hit that red subscribe button, as it really helps us out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, not the way we wanted to start the race, but maybe it'll teach them. You got to be very patient on this track. And that is a good looking number 44 car right there.
It definitely is. As we said last week, Chris Mefford, or not, 2 weeks ago I should say, we were off for the 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. But Chris Mefford did take the win the last time we were racing here in Racing for a Cause, so that was a good showing here in the K&N series. The winner of the Food City 150 at Bristol. So they're having a little bit of an issue right now, Chris, with the iRacing officials. The pace car driver's a little bit off tonight, so they're trying to set the field to figure out what they want to do. So let's talk about next week, July 17th. We will be heading here. We're going to be going to Alabama, buddy. We're going to be heading over to Talladega for the Winston 75. That is going to be a fantastic race. One of my favorite tracks, as you know, as everybody else knows if you follow the broadcast here. I'm really excited for that one.
I'm going to have to strap you to your seat and take away your steering wheel. But yeah, you're right. Can't wait to go to Alabama, Talladega International Speedway. Man, that is going to be a heck of a race. It's going to be a really good time. And I'm excited for that. But we have to get through tonight. We have to get through Wednesday. Wednesday, late model. Where's that?
We're heading to Langley. 50 laps on that short track. 59.25 miles, Chris. It's going to be a good time there, too.
Yeah, sure is.
And then we have to get through Friday night with the TRL. That's the Thunder Road Racing League. We broadcast them every Friday night starting around 9 p.m. or so. Those guys, I'm not exactly sure where they're heading. I think Bucky might have said to us there last Friday, but I kind of forgot, slipped my mind. But we will be doing the trucks there for the TRL. I'm looking forward to that also. What a way to end the week. We start here with the Racing for a Cause K&N Throw Back Series 1997 schedule, weather. No fast repairs. It's going to be a good time. We have the late models on Wednesday. You know, middle of the week. I think we have it pretty much figured out here, bud.
Yeah, we are going to be jam-packed. The action's going to be coming hot and heavy. Summer's really beginning, and we're doing it here at Martinsville. This is awesome.
It definitely is. Looks like we threw an extra caution flag there, Chris. So we should be going green here probably the next time by. So get ready for some more action. It's going to be a good one.
Cars are lined up 2 by 2. Pace cars looking to come off the track next time by. It's going to be fun. I'm ready to roll. I want to get some nice green flag racing in.
Now, because of that first lap accident, we have 3 cars that are at least a lap down. Dale Ricketts in the 88 is the first car 1 lap down. Chad Meadows in that 3, who was involved in that accident, is 1 lap down. And Dylan Blankenship, not exactly sure what happened to that number 1 machine, but he is sitting 3 laps down right now.
One more circuit for the pace car. We get ready to roll. Yeah, Jake, unfortunately, Dave's right. You didn't miss much. Quick caution, lap 1, right on the front stretch. We figured out the pace car. Yeah, I don't want to say he's been drinking and driving, but he certainly didn't pick up the right drivers So we had to throw an extra caution just to kind of straighten out the field. You see it right there, though. The 44 car, Chris Mefford. On his outside, the 94, T. Roy Radford. Inside, second row, you got Ryan Nolan. And then on the outside, A.J. Rogers, Brian Hacker. That's going to top off your top 5. And it is notable to say that the 77 is on the outside third row. That's Andrew Hill, Ryan Nolan's teammate. We get ready to kick the throttle back up. A little patience is what we need to see out of the drivers. Let's try and get a nice green flag run. Hello, drivers. Chris Mefford is your leader, and he took off like a shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, he definitely did, Chris. The field's starting to spread out a little bit, trying to figure out what they want to do. They're pretty much single file until you get up towards the mid-pack right now. Steve Baker and that 55 machine just did a really good move to get on the inside there. So these guys are just going to be doing good. They're going to try to figure out where they want to be. As we all know, Martinsville is kind of a one-lane racetrack. You got to kind of go on the inside there as you're going through the corners, and you shoot out to the outside wall as you're coming into the straightaways. So it's kind of interesting right now. It looks like the field is totally fanned out, and they're just trying to wait to see what they can do to make moves. Very tough to pass here.
Yeah, well, you want to pass on the inside, but you lose the momentum. That usually means that you come out door to door on the exit of the corners. And we see that Andrew Hill in the 77 has lost a position or two off from that restart. He's sitting back in 7th right now. Yeah. Steve Baker able to get around him very cleanly. And you see it. They are definitely nose to tail and a couple of blinkers. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that could cause some issues here later on as these cars start going around. Right now, I'm looking at the field. I'm back here looking at, Andrew Hill. You got Connor Parisi, and that pretty much stops that line right there. There's 8 cars that are just nose to tail doing their thing. And then the lead back towards them, Eric Driggins in the 42 machine in 9th place, has a little bit of time to make up there as he's getting some pressure there by the number 9 car, Joshua Spalding.
Yeah, and we saw it in the corner. A couple, well, you mentioned it, the accordion effect. Some guys on the brakes, some guys not, kind of hitting bumpers, and that's short track racing. And when you have all the horsepower in the world and you don't have a place to go, well, that front bumper, it's going to make contact with somebody else's back bumper. You don't have a choice.
That's very true, Chris. I'm back here watching Joshua Spalding in the number 9 car. He really doesn't have much going on, but Dustin German is right there behind him in the 28 machine. John Stevens moves up to 11th. Brian Beach is sitting in 12th right now, and Eric Driggins in that 42 machine has fallen back a little ways. He's sitting in the 13th position right now.
Yeah, Eric Driggins in that 42, we saw it. He got real tight, went way up the track, and he is suffering the consequences right now as he is losing positions. We'll take a peek in on JP, Justin Pinnell in that 60 car. Looks like he's doing a good job just kind of holding his inside line, trying to be very, very methodical about how he goes into this race. Hey, it's a long race. We've done 20 laps of 150. We know we've got at least one pit that we have to do, so good on him. Keep it nice and clean, and you'll be there at the end. We got a battle up front, which isn't really a battle anymore. Ryan Nolan has taken over 2nd position over Troy Radford.
And it looks like the 24 and 94 might have gotten together there, Chris. I see Greeny in that number 24 Autism Greenaway Motorsports Productions car is barbecuing right now.
Yeah, and we're under yellow. We are under yellow again. Lap 21. And it looks like the 34 car, Tommy Q, with some heavy damage, decides to take the tow into pit road. Yeah, heavy front end damage on that 34 cat car. And that is too bad. Don't want to see that. But Chris Mefford is your leader. He's going to be followed by Ryan Nolan, Brian Hacker, and AJ Rogers. Andrew Hill worked his way up to 5th. That is going to be your top 5.
No, it's funny, Chris. I'm looking over here at the pings right now of these drivers. I see Dylan Blankenship has left the racing surface. Phil Otto is one of our Australian members. He's running at a ping of 300, but his car seems to be doing okay. And the other guys, I'm not sure what's going on, but they are blinking like crazy.
Yeah, definitely have some, I know, in the sim world, we're going to call an internet issue as a mechanical problem, and it does look like we do have some mechanical issues going out there with iRacing and their server tonight. So we apologize for that, because, you know what, these guys, they can control a lot of things. They can control how they get into the corners. They can control how much throttle input they have. But what they cannot control is what the server's giving them. And if you got cars blinking all over the place, it makes it very tough, and it's a long, long night.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's one of the worst parts of iRacing. You know, you might have the best internet, Chris, but that doesn't matter if their servers are having a meltdown. Their servers are having a meltdown. I know it's something that, you know, a lot of people complain about, but it's not really on iRacing's fault. I mean, stuff just happens. It is the internet. We've all dealt with it before in multiple different games and whatnot, and simulators. So, you know, it's just unfortunate for these guys. They're trying to put on a good show, and they're having a little bit of an issue tonight with that.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, we're not gonna fold over and just die here. We want to see a good show. These guys are wanting to put on a good show for all of our viewers. And you know what? They actually go out and watch these things after too. So, you know, they want to see their car, and we try and do our very, very best. Peyton Johnson right there in the 85 Ovarian Cancer car. Really nice looking car. Andy Lambert, he's running 15th. Steve Baker, after some early trouble, back to 16th. Joshua Spalding in that 9. You saw him getting involved in some earlier issues. He is running in 18th, now 17th. So it's just amazing. And you see, I tried clicking on Dustin German, and boom, he blinks out and hasn't come back yet. So definitely some server issues going on tonight. And you gotta wonder, the Northeast is getting kind of hit with some heat, and I'm wondering if that's what it is.
Looks like we have another car that went around, Chris. There, the 86 machine.
86 machine, that's Gerald West. Regardless, we are, man, I don't know what to say here. It's tough.
Yeah, poor Gerald West. He was just trying to catch up to the pack, and that car just spun right around on him there. You know, this track is slick tonight, sitting at 97 degrees, and obviously as these guys go around, it's going to have some issues, and it's going to build up the heat in that track with these dynamic tracks here at iRacing. So that is an issue, even when you're going 43 miles per hour.
Yeah, Gerald West got the barbecue on. I think he's using some mesquite, because there's some smoke coming out of that thing.
Right now, though, the man in the number 44 machine, one of my favorite paint schemes, just because that is a throwback to, well, actually, I think it's a throwback more to Dale Jr. than it is to Dale Sr. It does fall in lines of the old Wrangler car, but I believe that was the paint that Dale Jr. won in the Xfinity Series, bringing the number 3 back to victory lane.
Well, we got some green flag laps that time, bud, and I'm hoping that we get some more. Like I said, the internet is not cooperating tonight, and we've seen it here on the stream. You know, focus in on a car and it disappears, and it disappears for a good long time, and that is dangerous when you're racing around somebody like that. And it's nobody's fault. That's the kicker.
Nope, not much you can do there, Chris. I know when I first started official racing, I used to get nervous being around anybody, and as my confidence grew and I started getting a little bit better out on the track, the only time that I really got nervous is when the car ahead of me or beside me, even behind me sometimes, when they started blinking, but more so right in front or on the side, because you do not know where they're going to come back out on the track. Sometimes you get lucky and iRacing lets you drive through them, but that doesn't happen too often.
No, you're right. And we've got 28 cars that are very, very competitive, trying to keep up with each other, and when you have a blink, boy, it's very, very tough. Brian Hacker in the 11 car, able to get around Ryan Nolan in that last little run there. Brian Hacker move up to second place. Ryan Nolan falls back to third. AJ Rogers fourth. Andrew Hill running fifth. Connor Parisi, he's up to sixth. So that's a pretty good run for him so far. John Stevens in the 09, he's running 7th. Brian Beach in that 18 car, he is running 8th. JP showing some really good patience. He's up to 9th, top 10 for him. And to finish out the top 10, Earl Simpson. Earl Simpson, that 07 black and green car.
Yeah, he is running the Trevor Project Saving Young Logs machine. That car looks really, really good. Chris, those colors just really go together really well.
And we see right now all the cars lining up 2 by 2. Pace car lights are off. Pace car is in. Chris Mefford looking to go back green flag racing. Chris Mefford in charge. And he's gone. Chris Mefford takes off. Brian Hacker in the 11 falls down below into 2nd. And Ryan Nolan 3rd. Right behind him, the battle for 4th place. Andrew Hill in the 77. It looks like he's going to take over 4th. AJ Rogers stuck on the outside in the 12.
Yeah, we're under caution, Chris. I see JP in that 60 machine going down through. I'm seeing the 41, and it looks like Andy Lambert might have started there, hitting the brakes quite a bit.
Well, I hate to say we said so, but man, oh man, this track is kicking some butt today. And this is the track. It's a hot track. It's slick track. And hopefully everybody's able to continue off from that one. JP does lose a few positions, going from 9th to 13th. Justin Pinnell, T-Roy Radford gaining a couple positions up to 11th again. And yeah, it's going to be tough.
Unfortunately, you are correct, Chris. It is going to be tough. There's a lot of cars on a small area. I mean, we deal with this stuff on a Wednesday night basis there with the late model series here at Racing for a Cause. But these cars are so fast. They go through the speed really quick, and they're very heavy, and you know, they're sliding around like they're on ice right now. So it's something that these drivers really have to watch and kind of keep in the back of their head that, you know, like Chris Mefford, when he took off in that restart now, our rule here at Racing for a Cause is as soon as that pace car leaves the racing surface, pretty much after it hits the pit lane commitment cones, the drivers are allowed to take off after the first green flag of the race. They can take off at any time as soon as that car is clear of the racing surface. Chris Mefford could have jumped at the start right there as he's going around into the corner, Chris, but he wanted to give a fair advantage to all the other drivers and wait until he got through that corner before he really took off. So that was really sportsmanship and respectful thing for him to do, because as we saw, you know, all through practice, a little bit of qualifying, and here in the race, even under caution, once you come off one of those corners, the back end of that car will just slide right out from you. So, you know, that was very respectful of him, and we're going to see that tonight until this field thins down a little bit, unfortunately. I think we're going to have a few more cautions.
Yeah, but right now, Phil Otto, and welcome back, Phil. I know Rick already said that, but welcome back to Phil Otto in that 66 car. He was able to take advantage of the caution as your lucky dog. He goes from 2 laps down to 1, so Phil Otto trying to get back to that lead lap, and he'll do it any way he can. Obviously, right now, he is the first car a lap down, and he's going to, oh no, it's not, actually. Earl Simpson. Earl Simpson is the first car a lap down, so a little bit of work to do, but we'll look to try and get some more guys up on the lead lap. The more we have up there, the better the racing is going to be. Little patience. It all comes down to a little patience. Guys, we want to talk about the Dog Days 250. That's coming up very, very soon. That's going to be August 3rd and 4th. August 3rd, we've got qualifying. August 4th, we have the race. This is a charity event, guys, that the Racing for a Cause is putting on. And we really, really appreciate any help and support that we can get there and getting the word out. We've got a good number of drivers so far. We'd love to get much more. If you can spread the word. Dog Days 250, running at Bristol International Speedway, August 3rd and 4th. Come on down, because it's going to be exciting, and it's for a great, great benefit to what's going to end up being 3 different charities. And drivers can win their money back in a heartbeat. Finish top 3, you're going to get a piece of the purse, and some money going to get donated to your cause. That's the Dog Days 250, August 3rd and 4th, sponsored by Racing for a Cause. We're getting ready to go back green as the cars go 2 by 2. Really, honestly, check that out. Check out that link. Thank you, Rick, for putting that up. We're very excited. This is going to be our very first big charity event. We're looking to do more. Racing for a Cause, where we try and put our money where our mouth is. And I can't thank all of the people that have already signed up enough. This is going to be a great event, and we look forward to doing more in the future. But right now, we've got 110 more laps. Chris Mefford under control of the field, and he takes off again. Chris Mefford is your leader. Brian Hacker sneaks down below. Ryan Nolan third, and fourth place under contention. But we've got a little something going on out back. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. 3 wide.
Racing really hard out back. Chris getting 3 wide on this small paperclip. That is a dangerous thing, but these drivers made it through.
Good job, drivers. And I know, Andy, you said Andy was involved in the last one. Right now, Andy Lambert in the 35 car is in the top 10. He's followed very closely by the 94 car. T. Roy Radford in the 94. Jeffrey Watson in the 41 running 12th. Pat Smith in the 75 running 13th. JP, Justin Pinnell, he's going to be running 14th. John Stevens, and that's the 09 car. He's running 15th.
These guys are definitely racing hard in the back, trying to catch back up to the leaders. Chris, it is getting very interesting back here for sure.
It's so hard to kind of keep up with the racing on the short tracks. We are doing our absolute best. Thank you all for coming out and watching. We really do appreciate it here at Racing for a Cause TV and the drivers here at Racing for a Cause. Again, we would not have anything to talk about or anybody to talk to if you guys weren't here or if our drivers were not out racing. So we really do appreciate all of the participation here at Racing for a Cause and Racing for a Cause TV. Rick, man, 45 laps down, got 105 laps to go. We're trying to get a nice green flag going, and it looks like we're getting ready to do that. You see the 09 kind of peeking out of the pits right there.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate for the 09 car as the caution does come out.
Caution's out again here at Martinsville. It's been very interesting racing so far. Our top 10 has changed around pretty significantly, but up front in the 44, that's Chris Mefford. 45 laps down, 45 laps led. Chris Mefford dominating the field. And I take a peek over to the last race we ran, which was Bristol, another short track, and guess who won that? Chris Mefford.
Yep, Chris Mefford in that 44. GMR Motorsports, Greenaway Motorsports Productions car. He does a really good job. He also is racing for the National Kidney Foundation. You know, Chris Mefford is one who we know, if anybody's followed the broadcast since we've been doing it, or looks at our Dan Lisa points, you know, Chris Mefford is no stranger to the winner's circle or being up front. These guys over at GMR Motorsports, they practice week in and week out. At least an hour a day is what I was told that they practice for the upcoming races. So it really shows that that little bit of a practice throughout the week definitely helps.
It comes down to being familiar with the track, being familiar with the car. You see JP coming out of the pits trying to skirt ahead of the pace car, and I think he's going to do that just fine. I don't know if we've run enough laps yet to start talking about, do the leaders truly need to pit at this point? We've had quite a few caution flag laps. Let's take a look. We've had 5 cautions, 27 laps. Rick, by my math, that's like half. Or
yeah,
better.
Pretty much is half of the field, or half the race has been ran under caution, Chris. It is unfortunate. It is tough. Like we said, we are running something that a lot of leagues don't do. We are actually running the actual 1997 schedule of NASCAR here in the Throwback Series. But what makes it really special is we're also running the weather of the day. So obviously it was a hot day down in Martinsville. This track is slippery. I'm sure if we look back at that race, I'm sure there was a lot of cautions there for the big guys of the NASCAR back then, Winston Cup Series. So, you know, this is something that they have to be really, really cautious with. That track temperature is just crazy, as Chris has it up there. You know, air temp's only 71, but that track temperature, it started out at 97. But I know with the dynamic tracks, they go. Unfortunately, iRacing hasn't set it up so that it actually gives you the current track reading But you can bet your last dollar that this track is up over 100 degrees right now, Chris.
Yeah, you can. And Greenaway Motor Productions, Rick Greenaway, we already told you guys about him. Looking good out here on the stream. We've got our new logo out there. We've got the ticker working again. Rick Greenaway, thank you very much. Everything's working nice and smooth tonight. The only thing that's not working nice and smooth, people's pings. As we're back, green flag racing. Chris Mefford again just takes a wicked shot. Brian Hecker able to continue on into second place. He drops down in front of Ryan Nolan in the 78. Right now, a little battle going on for third place. Ryan Nolan on the inside, AJ Rogers on the outside. AJ Rogers loses it. And now the battle is for fourth place. AJ Rogers, Andrew Hill. Andrew Hill able to sneak around on the inside.
Yeah, right now, Chris, the only guys that are really in the safe zone, first, second, third, now fourth, fifth, sixth, and it's continuing to go back there as these guys are starting to get nose to tail and fanning out. Very tough track to be racing side by side on here in Martinsville.
It really is, and we see some side-by-side action a little further back in the field. Not that far. There we go. But not a lot. These guys are starting to figure out that 2 wide, 3 wide definitely doesn't work. And they only have one car. No quick repairs here, so they got to be very, very careful as what they're doing up top. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Andy Lambert, who went from 10th to 8th on that restart. Patrick Smith, he's crawled into the top 10 in the 75 car, so he's doing a very nice job tonight.
Oh, he definitely is, Chris. Patrick Smith, that 75 machine, he qualified 20th position. He's sitting in 9th, like you said. I'm sure he's happy about that as his car slides just a little bit there. As there's a couple cars. Oh, we have a car spinning around right behind him. And it looks like the caution might come out.
Oh, yes, and it turns into a big one. Turns into a very big one.
Looks like we got Daryl Ricketts of the 88. He's starting the barbecue. There's another car right behind him also. I believe that's the 42 machine. It is of Eric Driggins. It looks like his tires and suspension are a little messed up. He's going to have a hard time getting around back into pit road there.
We're going to take a look on the replay. We're watching the 88 car, Daryl Ricketts. I don't know that he was directly involved, but he got kind of tied up into it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You see the 42 car. 42 car got spun into the wall, and he took out a couple of drivers with him. All in all, though, that could have been a lot worse. A lot worse.
It definitely can. I mean, I believe he just got really loose there coming off that corner, as we've been saying all night tonight. That is something that you really have to be cautious about as you're going around this track, because it doesn't take much for that car to just spin out from behind you or under you.
Under caution again here at Martinsville. Really, not a lot more to say than that. Although we have had some movers. And by movers, I mean some cars that have come from deep in the field up to the top 10. But right now, your top 5, you've got Chris Mefford in the 44, Brian Hacker in the 11. They've been doing a great job on the restarts. Brian Hacker has been able to get in very, very well. And Tim, yeah, I agree. The guys have been blinking pretty bad. We've been seeing it all night long, ever since practice. Ryan Nolan 3rd, Andrew Hill in the 77 car. He's running 4th, and AJ Rogers rounds out your top 5. So, yeah, Tim, again, lots of blinking in Martinsville. With the track temperature the way it is, with the air temperature the way it is, you're absolutely right. Martinsville is way hard enough to deal with, and then throw in some ill-performing server. That doesn't make it fun for a lot of people. But I'll tell you who's having a blast right now. He's led 59 laps so far. Chris Mefford in the 44 car. You see some cars taking a wave around right now, but man, so far it's been a pretty decent race. Cautions aside, the racing has been very good. They know they have to pass on the inside. That's the preferred line. And most of the cautions that I've seen so far haven't really come from the racing. It's come from the server. And if we could just straighten out that server, the racing would have been... It's too bad. It's robbing us of some racing. 89 laps to go. 61 of 150. Greedy saying he's taught Mefford everything he knows. Yeah, maybe. I've been involved in a couple of practices where that wasn't necessarily the case. I'm just saying. Somebody up in the booth may know the truth. Chris Mefford launches himself again as we're green flag racing again. This time the 78 car, Ryan Nolan, takes a very, very aggressive hard start. It looks like he's trying for second. And Brian Hacker in the 11 car may be hung out to dry. Brian Hacker in the 11 in the outside lane. That's not where he wants to be. On the inside, Andrew Hill in the 77. The 77 car does take over third place, so Brian Hacker loses 2 on the restart. Ryan Nolan, Andrew Hill, your second and third place car. They are teammates. Chris Mefford in the 44 hanging out there by himself. 2 teammates behind him. Brian Hacker in 4th. AJ Rogers running 5th. Josh Spalding in the 9 car running 6th. You see it right there. The awesome... what is it? Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. There we go. Andy Lambert. Andy Lambert running 7th. Jeffrey Watson running 8th. Steve Baker's worked his way up to 9th. Patrick Smith, he's running 10th in that 75 car. The guys have to be very, very careful about touching those inside curbs. They will upset the car.
They definitely will, Chris. I'm watching the guys out back here. No one in particular, just the racing itself. And that's where all the action is right now. I mean, the top 4 or 5 drivers are all just nose to tail kind of spread out. But some of these guys out back, they have a handful of wheel as they're going around trying to get the positions what they can. That's slowing everybody down, though. That's the problem here in Martinsville, is that you got to be right next to that curb as you're going around that corner. Oh, the car.
Big wreck. Big wreck on the backstretch. The 9 car involved. Joshua Spalding involved now, and that was a huge wreck on the backstretch. We'll see if we can catch that one.
Nationwide series right here. So to get us going, let's go.
Right there you see him. Before we get going live again, you have the 9 car on the outside. You have the 35 car on the inside. We'll get it going again. The guys jumble up. Not a lot they could do. Little touch. And then the 41 car really had no place to go. You saw him hop on the wall, get into the 9 car. Oh, man, what an accident. Holy cow.
Yeah, Jeffrey Watson in that 41 machine definitely had nowhere to go, Chris, except for up over the 9. That is unfortunate.
It really is. We had some really good racing going there, but man, oh man, what an accident. Chris Mefford still your leader. A little change of position up front, though. We've got Ryan Nolan, Andrew Hill, and AJ Rogers, your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Steve Baker, with that little accident, launches himself up to 5th. Pat Smith up to 6th. Man, oh man, up and over is right.
Yeah, definitely. Steve Baker, Patrick Smith, they're the ones who were the real winners out of that accident, Chris. They gained a lot of ground there. Right behind them is where all this action happened, so everybody else had to check up. I gave them a chance to catch back up, so they were definitely on the move there.
Yeah, that was wicked. That's one of those, close your eyes, turn the wheel one direction or the other, and just hope. And as you said, Steve Baker, Patrick Smith, your big winners out of there, as they were kind of towards the end of the top 10, now right in the middle. Steve Baker running 5th in the 55, Pat Smith running 6th. He's running the 75 car. Brian Beach running the 18th up to 7th. Earl Simpson in the 07. He's running 8th. JP, Justin Pinnell, finds himself back in the top 10. John Stevens in that 09. He is your 10th place car. Andy Lambert falling back to 11th with that accident. So some comings and goings, and not a lot you can do about it, as we had a car up in the air. You could see the transmission if you were sitting in the grandstands.
Right now we have 17 cars on the lead lap, Chris. The first car a lap down is the number 85 machine of Peyton Johnson. He's just hopefully for well, I'm sure he's not hoping for a caution, but if he can hold that spot, he's going to be able to get his lap back. Phil Otto still 1 lap down in that 66 machine. Nicky Zeev in the 93 is a lap down, and then below there, I think pretty much all those guys have parked their cars for the night there. 13 laps down, 14, 18, 44, and so on. So the field is starting to thin out. There's really 17 guys on that lead lap. There's 3 that are in contention to get that back as the pace car takes off, and we're getting ready to go green again.
Guys are grouped up nice and tight. Chris Mefford takes a shot again. Andrew Hill trying to take over second from his teammate Ryan Nolan, and he follows Chris Mefford. Very strong start. Andrew Hill takes over second place. Ryan Nolan finds himself in no man's land. The 55 car, Steve Baker, trying to take advantage as he has got the inside of Ryan Nolan, looking for third place. Steve Baker, a man on the move right now. And he does. He completes that pass for third. The inside line, definitely the place you want to be. If you're not there, you're probably going backwards. But great job by Steve Baker on that restart to kind of just follow the lines through. And he got positions for doing it. Patrick Smith unable to gain position, but at the same time didn't lose any position. Started on the outside in 6th. Still on 6th place right now in the 75, doing a very nice job. Good car control up front. That's what it takes around this track.
Yeah, it definitely is, Chris. I mean, I think if Patrick Smith, that 75 machine, stays right where he's doing, he maybe gets a nose in on A.J. Rogers in the 12 car, he might be able to complete that pass. That's what we saw with Ryan Nolan as he moved back. Steve Baker was able to get on that inside. If those 2 guys behind him were smart, they would have stayed right down there, but I know that's a tough thing to do. They opened up a little bit of gap, and Ryan Nolan saw that, so he occupied that space, and that saved him from going back too far.
76 down, 74 to go. We're starting to get some green flag laps now as the cars have started spreading out just a little bit. You see a little bit further back, there is a 2x2 action going on, and we'll see if we can figure out who that is. That was Troy Radford to the inside. Good move by Troy Radford in the 94. Just behind them, you've got John Stevens and Brian Hacker in the 11s. Brian Hacker's fallen all the way back to 12th, but he has taken a pit stop, which means he has fresh tires. And fresh tires may be just what he wants right now.
Oh, that's one thing that was going on. I was just getting ready to say that Andy Lambert, when right before you came to, oh, we have a car going around. I believe it was the 09 car. It is the 09 car. The Hobby Lobby machine of John Stevens.
John Stevens taking a little ride. Let's see if we can find it.
So to get us going, let's go trackside.
So as I was saying, Andy Lambert was really the first one that was dealing with all that 2x2 racing, Chris. He was able, again, to get onto that inside lane, go by, and the guys finally smartened up. They stopped doing a little 2x2, and they just got nose to tail to try to catch up, but now they're able to.
Yeah, tough shot from the 09. Looks like a self-spin. Got a little loose coming out of the corner, and that's something that hasn't changed since practice. These corners will bite you. You get on the throttle too soon, and looks like that's what happened. We've got pit stops coming. Pit stops coming. Your leader, Chris Mefford, gives up the lead coming down pit road right now in that 44 car. Looking to get service. That's 4 tires and a tank of gas to get through this race. Chris Mefford gives up the lead for some tires and fuel.
I think that's really a smart move, Chris. I mean, yes, we ran some under caution, but these guys, I'm sure the tires are really screaming. They're really loose as they're going into the corner, out of the corner, and they definitely want some new ones. But it looks like Steve Baker might win the race off of pit road with Andrew Hill right behind him as Troy Radford in the 44 machine comes off pit road.
Yeah, wicked pit stops by Steve Baker, Andrew Hill. You got to wonder if they took more or 2 or 4, and I've got to guess it's got to be 2 because Chris Mefford usually has a very good pit stop, and I didn't see any pit slide or anything like that. So you got to wonder if Baker and Hill just took 2 to try and get out in front. But your leader right now in the 18 car, Brian Beach. Brian coming out of nowhere to lead this race. Justin Pinnell, he's in the 60 car. That's second place. Brian Hacker, we just talked about him, now up to 3rd. Brian was able to run up front earlier on with the leaders. I think he was running 2nd for a good portion of the race. Steve Baker, he was the first one out. of the pit. So Steve Baker in the 55 back to 4th. Andrew Hill with the preferred line running 5th in that 77 Folgers car. Chris Mefford back to 6th place. Ryan Nolan 7th. AJ Rogers 12th. Patrick Smith 9th. Andy Lambert 10th. So Pat Smith, Andy Lambert still in the top 10, but everything in front of him has changed.
That it definitely has, Chris. This has been really exciting. I mean, I know it's caution filled. A lot of people might not think so, but these guys, when they do get a good green flag stretch going, they're definitely doing what they got to do and putting on a good show. It's just unfortunate these tires go away. The track's already slick and warm, and next thing you know, as you're coming out of that corner, like you said, you get on that gas just a little bit too soon, you're going to meet the wall.
Biggest mover so far, I'm going to have to say, I'm not entirely sure where he started, but I believe it may be JP as pit car dives down. We're getting ready to go. Green flag racing. Brian Beach is your leader, and he takes off. Brian Beach takes off nice and late into that corner. JP hung out on the outside. JP and the 60 car holding on, but the 11 car, Brian Hacker, takes advantage. Brian Hacker on the inside takes advantage. And he is your leader as we are under caution again.
Yep, 75 of Patrick Smith. Not sure what happened there as I'm looking. It looks like he might have gotten into contact with the number 12 machine, Chris.
And it all changes again, Junior. It all changes again. Andy Lambert. We were just talking about him and Pat Smith. Andy Lambert worked his way up to 8th. Ryan Nolan running in 7th right now. Steve Baker in 4th. So, man, oh man, it's been rough. But Dave, I want to say I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think JP being in 3rd right now is probably the biggest mover. I'm not sure where Brian started. Junior, do you recall?
Yeah, it looks like right now, actually, the biggest mover out of all of them, Brian Beach in that number 18 machine. He qualified 16th. He is sitting as 1st right now. And 2nd would be Justin Pinnell in that 60 car. He started 17th, came in 3rd. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, all the other guys were kind of up towards the front. Another big mover, Andy Lambert in that number 35 machine. In the Irvin car, he qualified 14th and is sitting in 8th place right now, so it's going to be kind of interesting. I know one thing that Brian Beach is looking at, boy, I have no tires, I haven't gotten fuel, I hope I can stretch this out, but that is why he is still in 1st place right now. He is going to try to go the distance that he can possibly, but right behind him, not far back, we have guys with new tires and full load of fuel, so they're going to be really trying to get back up to where they need to be. So it's going to be interesting here. I'm sure that the pace car lights are going to go off this time by as we're going down the backstretch, so we're going to be going live soon again. And as Chris said, August 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be doing qualifying for the Dog Days 250 under the full moon at Bristol. We're really excited about this race. We do have sponsors. There is a guaranteed purse of $100, and I know that that is actually more, but I want to thank our sponsors, Carlisle Van Lines, Greenaway Motorsports Productions, Motor Sim Racing Mag, SimSpec PC Towers, Domino's TYJ Racing, Pad Motorsports, and I want to give a huge shout out to Trevor and Chad of the iRacing Today radio show. If you guys haven't listened to their podcast, it's one of the best iRacing podcasts out there. They are a little sporadic when they put out their when they actually put out the podcast, but definitely give them a follow over there. It is the iRacingTodayRadioShow.com. Like I said, they're going to be actually racing in here with us during the Dog Days 250. That race is going to be August 4th, starting at 8 p.m. So we are really excited about that. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be open setups with the super late models, Bristol, 250 laps under the lights. It's going to be a good time. And I do want to give a huge shout out to all our followers right now, all the viewers that are watching. I know that these drivers have some family members that are watching, so I want to thank you all for coming out each and every time as the pace car comes off, and it looks like Brian Beach is going to be taking off once again.
Kind of a messed up start right there. As you see, the top three kind of got going really well. JP got real tight, went way up the track, and lost some serious positions. And that changes everything up front a little bit. Brian Beach, your leader still, but Steve Baker works his way up to second. Brian Hacker in the 11. Andrew Hill in the 77. That's your top four. And Ryan Nolan, he's trying to make top five, and he does so. Gets around JP, Justin Pinnell.
I think Brian Beach is going to be in trouble here, Chris. That number 55 car has, looks like he just made the pass there to go into first place with Steve Baker. And that 55 machine is our new leader. Brian Beach just had those guys, you know, they're on old tires. They didn't have what it took. You know, that's unfortunate that happened, but that's the way the racing goes. They took the gamble, they stayed out, and now he's falling back to third with a lot of pressure.
So Steve Baker, who was looking really, really good in practice, now your leader in that 55 car. Right behind him, Andrew Hill. And you're right, Brian Beach is kind of on, although he has pit, he pit earlier than everybody else, so a little bit older tires. That may make a difference down the stretch. Ryan Nolan in that 78, you saw him charging hard, taking over fourth. Brian Hacker looking to go back to the inside, can't do it. Brian Hacker running fifth right now. JP, Justin Pinnell, sticks his nose underneath. JP running strong right now, and he does take over that position. JP takes over fifth. Andrew Lambert right there in the 35 car. Oh, we've got a big spin. Andrew Hacker around, or excuse me, Brian Hacker around, and everybody kind of keeps going. Just stacks up the whole field. We stay under green flag.
That's some real good driving by Brian Hacker. He didn't stay out on the track. He saw that it was clear. He started going again, which allows us to stay under the green flag. But right now, I know that he really wants to go in and get some new tires, Chris. They're definitely shot, and if you watch him going around those corners, he will start out low, but then he slides right up towards that outside wall. So those tires are definitely one.
Brian Hacker may have older tires than everybody else. A lot of action going on. I cannot believe we didn't get a caution out of that. That was unbelievable driving. And that shows you that really tonight has been about the driving as being good, the server not being so good. Steve Baker, nonetheless, your leader still. Andrew Hill second, Ryan Nolan third. Steve Baker, Andrew Hill, and Ryan Nolan top three. Brian Beach able to hold on to fourth and pulls away for a little bit from Chris Mefford in the 44. Chris Mefford, who's led 78 laps, 78 of the 99 laps, marred back in fifth place right now. JP, Justin Pinnell, right behind him, and he's got Andy Lambert on his back bumper.
If there's one thing that any of the viewers and iRacers that actually do iRacing can learn from this race, Chris, is Martinsville is one of the tracks, and there's a lot of them, but one of the biggest tracks that you have to actually race the track and not the drivers around you.
You know what? That's very, very sage advice right there. The track is your biggest nemesis. Everybody else is trying to do the same thing as we're under caution again.
Yeah, watch the number 55 of Steve Baker. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, Chris. He is the reason why we are under caution right now. I'm trying to figure out what happened there.
Right there, you see him, Steve Baker, already out of control a little bit. Maybe we should go back just a little bit more and try and figure out exactly what happened here. Okay, here we go. So Steve Baker, he is the white car right there coming into the corner. Steve Baker in the 55. You know what? I can tell you exactly what happened. I said it earlier. He hit the curb. You hit the curb, and that upsets the car, and he was unable to keep going and stops on the track. Just about stops on the track. Caution comes out. 55 car, Steve Baker, self issues. Man, oh man.
Yeah, he's definitely got some real big damage on that 55 Rad Motorsport or Rad Racing Mission 22 car, Chris. I'm watching. We have some tires that are locked up, so that definitely hurt the suspension in that car. That might have taken him out for the night.
Yep, those curbs are not your friend here at Martinsville. Not in the least. Whew, lap 103 of 150, 47 laps to go. Right now under caution here at Martinsville.
And we have a new race leader, the Folgers car, number 77 of Andrew Hill right now with his teammate Ryan Nolan in that Club New England car, sitting in the 78 machine, and Chris Mefford back up to third. So that's going to get real interesting. And I want to give a big shout out to Andy Lambert, who is sitting in fourth right now in that 35 Urban Oil car. Looks like Steve Baker in the 55 machine just came over the radio, Chris. I was able to talk to him as he was getting out of his car down on pit road. Looks like he lost all steering feedback and it went dead as he was coming out of 4.
Oh, man. Tough break. Not what you want to hear. Steve Baker was doing a very good job leading this race. Steve Baker, technical difficulties, going to take him right out of it.
Want to give a big shout out to the driver number 61, Jason Perry. Let's go number 60. He's rooting for Justin Pinnell in that Dish Networks Susan G. Coleman number 60 Chevrolet. It's good to see you, Jason. I look forward to seeing you down in Langley, my friend.
Yeah, Jason Perry getting set to come back to racing for a cause. Come back home to the family. Man, I can't wait to see it. Jason, it's been too long, my friend. Very much too long. Can't wait to see you Wednesday night. Coming up at Langley. Pace cars in. Andrew Hill has control of the field. Andrew Hill in that 77 Folgers. His teammate Ryan Nolan on the outside. Chris Mefford on the inside. Chris Mefford takes a nice shot. Andrew Hill holds on to the lead, but Chris Mefford strong onto the bumper. Way too strong, maybe. Too strong as the 77 Folgers car has issues and it stacks everybody up. It stacks everybody up, and that's a big one.
That is a big one, Chris. I don't know if we actually have a big one. Hey, Kobe, good to see you. He's rooting for Ryan Nolan at number 78 machine.
Under caution again here at Martinsville. Short track temper starting to flare, and it's going to happen. You can't get away from short track tempers here. You just can't. Chris Mefford took a very aggressive move, and boom. He's out front again, but you know Andrew Hill not liking the move he made.
What was really interesting though, Chris, I was watching that 71 on that restart. He got loose quite a bit coming off that corner, giving it a little bit too much gas, and you know, that didn't help. That gave Mefford a chance to move up, and he did get a little bump there on the back bumper, which took him out the rest of the way. That's unfortunate. And
I just want to clarify, you said 71. What you really meant to say was 77, Andrew Hill. I know that for a fact because nobody's taking my number.
No, you're sitting in the booth with me. You know, I was actually thinking about that, Chris, on the last caution flag. You promised the viewers an in-car race. I think we should both race Talladega.
Is that your ploy to get on track in Alabama?
You know.
Yeah, it's a good try. It'd be very interesting. I think we need to talk. Now that you have your new laptop, I think we need to talk about that a little bit. That's for another night, though. Right now, 109 out of 150. Under caution again. This is the 11th caution, 56 laps. Oh my goodness. The admins are going to be very, very busy after this race, I have a feeling.
Well, we're getting to that point in time, Chris, where these guys are looking at the laps. They're looking, going, okay, 108, 109. We're going to be coming up to 110 here shortly. They only have 150 laps, so, you know, the time is starting to tick away to make the moves of what they need to do. And sometimes, you know as much as I do, that one thing they have to worry about is, you know, the hurt feelings. You drive a little bit more aggressively. So that's kind of unfortunate, and that's one thing that's really hard for these drivers to remember.
Oh, it's true, and, you know, it comes back to, hey, it's a half-mile track. The bumper rules here, and unfortunately, it looks like that's exactly what happened on that last run. The 77 car, Andrew Hill, got just a little bit loose, and Chris Mefford had just a little bit better restart. They touched bumpers, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, that's one thing that I've noticed about racing. I mean, one of the worst things that I hate hearing, especially a sim racer say, is rubbing's racing. Rubbing's not racing. But you have guys that in the real life, like Dale Earnhardt, and there's a lot of others, but they were masters at using that bumper. And a lot of times, like if you watch a lot of Dale as he got older in his career, you would see that he was able to actually bump those cars just to move them out of the way, but not necessarily spin them.
Yeah, John Stevens in the 09 saying bad luck for the 09 tonight. It was a rough race out there, and the track was very slick coming off, which we've definitely seen. He's going to watch the rest here on the broadcast. And John, I don't particularly want to say this, but it's good to have you in the audience. I wish you were back out on track. Right now, going back live, Chris Mefford right off the get-go. Chris Mefford into the wall. That's causing a pile-up, wicked pile-up. Chris Mefford got loose on that restart, spun his tires. Oh boy, oh boy. I don't even know what to look at there. Chris Mefford absolutely just spun his tires, must be. Got loose, spun the car, and it took a few more out with him, and it's still not done.
And that goes back to what I was saying, Chris. I mean, these guys know that the laps are starting to wind down. We just started, what was it, lap 113 there. And next thing you know, these guys aren't thinking clearly now. All they're thinking about is just trying to get, but that's exactly what happened to Chris Mefford. He came off the corner right into the inside wall. He did good to keep it down there, but boy, there was a lot of other cars that weren't as lucky.
Yeah, Mefford tried to do the right thing. He tried to stay down low, and it didn't matter. It just didn't matter as the cars started piling up behind him.
And there was definitely a lot of cars, unfortunately, that happened to. Looks like the 18 might have been involved in the same little thing. Chris Mefford, yep, that's exactly what happened. The 12 and 18 got together, which caused that huge pileup. So that wasn't really all because of Mefford and the 44 machine, but that was definitely a contributing factor.
When you see a car up front lose it, you've got two choices. You can let off the throttle and try and make it through, or you can get on the brakes. And, man, Chris Mefford falls back to third after that, but a couple of guys ruined their night right there. You saw a couple pulling away, barbecuing up some hot dogs here. 116 laps of 150. Dustin German in the 28. I believe that's his car, the 28 car. Just verify.
Yep.
Dustin German, yes. Taking the lucky dog. Up front now, you've got Ryan Nolan in the 78. Troy Radford, T. Roy Radford in the 94. I'm sure his parents are out watching. Hello to Mr. and Mrs. Radford if you are. Chris Mefford running third after that accident. Andy Lambert fourth. Andrew Hill back to fifth. Brian Hacker in the 11. He's running sixth. And Nicky Z in the 93 silently working his way up to seventh. Very silently. I think that's the first time I've called that number tonight.
Yeah, he qualified 27th, and he's in 7th place right now, Chris, so he moved up 20 spots. I'm sure he passed a lot more cars than that on his way up. Dave, you are correct. That's not the only contributing factor. As I was saying earlier, I mean, this is the time where guys they make crazy moves because they know that these laps are going to tick down really fast. They're going to try to do whatever they can do, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just not the right move at the right time to do that.
Yeah, when you're busy out there running 19.9 second laps, you don't have a lot of reaction time, and that's part of it. This is short track racing, high horsepower car, and we're seeing the results of it right now. As the guys start folding up 2x2, pace car lights are going to come off this time by, I believe, and we're going to get ready to go back racing. Pace car lights are off.
So we're going to be going green again at lap 120. These guys got 30 laps to figure out what they're going to do, and we'll be crowning a winner here at the Paperclip.
A lot of action here tonight. We said that at the beginning. We knew it was going to happen. And we're just going to hope that we end up having a very good finish to this race. The 78 car checks out. Ryan Nolan, great restart. Right behind him, the 44 car. But T. Roy Rowell, we got one over Andy Lambert. Andy Lambert is over and over and over, and he's facing the wrong way on the track. Andy Lambert got upside down several times on that last restart. We're going to pick it up right here. This is the restart. We're going to keep an eye on Andy Lambert. We're going to get in a little closer. Andy Lambert right there in the 35 on the outside of the 44, Chris Mefford. You see Andrew Hill able to get to his inside. Andy Lambert came to the inside, and Brian Hacker went to his outside. Andy Lambert was in the middle and had no place to go. Went upside down, and that car is wrecked.
That's really unfortunate there. Andy was having a good run sitting there in fourth, Chris. That's going to end his night right there. He's going to end up going 20 some odd laps down. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is not the way you want to finish a race. Andy Lambert with the most exciting flip of the night. I'm going to put it out there right now. Oh my goodness. Just when you thought you were setting up for a 30-lap finish, it lasted one lap.
Or a quarter of a lap.
A quarter? Yeah, you're right. Andy Lambert, definitely the most exciting wreck of the night as his car went upside down. Everybody got to see the engine and the transmission there. You probably took a look at that rear differential too. Andy Lambert upside down, and really no fault of his own. He was kind of in the middle, and unfortunately that's exactly what happens. So we reset the field. Your top five right now: Ryan Nolan, T-Roy Radford, Chris Mefford, Andrew Hill, and we've got Nicky Z in the 93 running fifth.
And right down from there, we have Justin Padell in that 60 machine running 6th, Peyton Johnson in the 85 running 7th, Chad Meadows in the 3 running 8th, Joshua Spalding in the 9 car running 9th, and Dustin German in the 28 machine rounds out your top 10 and is the last car on a lead lap right now.
And that just goes to prove the kind of accidents that have happened. We started this race with 28 cars. 28 cars started, and we've got 10 now on the lead lap.
JP, no texting and driving, buddy. But you're welcome. JP definitely did a good job. Jason, you are correct. He did a fabulous job, and he's definitely sitting right now in the top 10, looking at the door of the top 5, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
I want to say it again. Thank you to all of the viewers out there. It's pretty amazing to see how much this channel has grown, and we couldn't have done it without you. We couldn't have done it without our drivers. They put on a heck of a show every single week for you guys to watch, and without them and without you, Rick and I would have nothing to do. So we really do appreciate it as we get ready to go back green flag racing and cars start folding up 2 by 2. JP, get your head in the game. You're going to be starting on the outside. Dr. Daytona. Ricky, that's somebody right after you right there, bud.
Oh, definitely. Dr. Daytona, you're my new favorite fan, my friend. Daytona International Speedway is one of my favorite tracks. Very close. It's a tie between Daytona and Talladega. I'm definitely a plate track guy. Thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it.
Chris Mefford bumped to the outside. Nicky Z in the 93. Trying to take advantage. We'll see if he can get to the inside. No, Chris Mefford has the power to keep in front of him. Right now, Ryan Nolan, Troy Radford, and Chris Mefford, your top 3. Nicky Z in the 93 trying to make hay. That's a beautiful looking green and white car. Andrew Hill in the 77 getting around JP. JP not forcing the issue too much, but back to the inside. JP. Oh, we've got a car into the wall. That was Peyton Johnson into the wall. He gathers it back up and continues on. Peyton Johnson running 7th right now in the 85 car. Good job for him. Little patience. That's all it takes to get around this track with a 60 car right now. Fighting very hard. Getting around Andrew Hill. JP takes charge and is running 5th.
JP had a really good save there in that number 60 machine, Chris. He did get a little bit sideways there, but he was able to straighten it out and keep going. So congrats to him. Good job, buddy.
Up front, Ryan Nolan, you're a leader right now, and we've got 1 second gap back to Chris Mefford. Chris Mefford, who has led 84 laps so far here tonight, trying to get back up front. But your man up front, the 78 car, Mr. New England himself, Ryan Nolan, and we are back under caution.
Yep, JP got the commentator curse there, Chris. I was talking about him. He got all excited, and next thing you know, he went around. That's unfortunate.
The commentator curse. It is real. It is so real. We see him right there, mid-corner, coming out of the corner. Let's watch him. Little hard on that accelerator pedal, and you see it self-spin right into the wall, inside barrier. JP in the 60 car. JP takes out the inside barrier and comes down pit road for his efforts, trying to stay on the lead lap. Brian, yes, a lot of that's track, a lot of that's a server, and some of it's just over aggressive driving, but you're going to have that here on this little half-mile track. Brian Hacker joining us out there in the chat. We shouldn't have said his name, Junior. We should not have said JP's name. Jason Perry, one disappointed fan, as JP gets loose coming around the corner. Self-spin right into the inside barrier. That's going to set up for a really interesting restart, though, as we've got Ryan Nolan, your leader. He's going to be followed by Chris Mefford. So Chris Mefford's going to be the first car on the outside. And you see a lot of damage on that left front of Chris Mefford. Troy Radford probably in the catbird seat. He's going to be on the inside of his teammate. No, that's not true. He's going to be on the second row, but to the inside. Chris Mefford, T-Roy Radford are teammates.
Yeah, they definitely are, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's kind of hard here in Martinsville, Chris, to see what teammates can really do. You know, not really much that they can do with pushing or anything like that around here, so it'll be kind of interesting to see.
The admins are definitely going to have a long night as they try and sort out this race. It's been a tough one. 134 down of 150. And by my math, that makes 16 laps to go. As my son is joining me in the booth when he should be in bed. Having a little bit of a sugar low. That's what happens. That's why we run the T1D. JDRF Machine 71. Can't wait to get back out on the track.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brian. You're absolutely right, JP. You're not done yet. You keep going, buddy. It is unfortunate, but yes, I do want to welcome Philip here into the booth with us. He's one of the main reasons why we started Racing for a Cause and how this league got started here. So, you know, it's definitely kind of cool. Unfortunately, little buddy, I'm sorry that you're dealing with some issues tonight, but you are the reason why we are here and why these guys are out on the track.
We start lining up 2 by 2. Ryan Nolan, your leader, looking to get a good restart. Chris Mefford on the outside, not giving any room. Ryan Nolan starts halfway through the corner. Ryan Nolan in the 94 car. The 94 car, T-Roy Radford spins that thing out. Troy Radford with a spin. We're under caution again. These guys have got to learn those corners are no place to go. You have to be careful. You cannot try and keep up with the guy in front of you on a restart. And T-Roy Radford, Troy Radford with the self-spin. JP saying, I'm not done yet. Let's take a peek in. Justin Pinnell, 1 lap down, running number 11. That means that he should be able to get his lap back. He'll be back on the lead lap. JP not done yet, trying to get a top 10 finish. I want to give a shout out Phil Otto. Phil has not run with us for a couple of weeks due due to some issues down there in Australia. Phil Otto, good to have you back on track, running number 8.
John Stevens, you're absolutely correct. The starts are a tough part about this track, and one thing that we noticed is that whoever's leading can get kind of a little bit of a head start if they're kind of, I don't really want to say smart, but it's the only word I can think of about it, because once that pace car leaves the racing surface after the initial green flag, the leader can start at any time. And one thing about this small track is that if you really get into it as you're going into the corner, you can mess a lot of guys up, because that's one thing. If you get on the gas just a little bit too soon, you know that car is going to spin. So tonight so far, we have seen a lot of respectful starts where guys are allowing the field to mostly get through the corner before they take off, but it is very tough with the restarts. I always struggle with restarts anyway, even though I've gotten a little better now that I got VR, so I can kind of watch the guy who's next to me to find out what's going on and try to get a jump on it before he does, but it is tough, my friend.
I just want to give a shout out again to all the viewers, but a special shout out tonight to the admins. They're definitely going to have their work cut out for them after this race. It's been tough. There's no question about it. Started off having some server issues. Haven't really been seeing too much in the way of blinking lately, but it was definitely there early on, probably because of the first 4 or 5 accidents of the race. Been better lately, but now we've got driver issues. Trying to get, well, they're excited. We've got 9 laps to go.
9 laps to go, Chris. Right now there's only 10 cars on that lead lap. Ryan Nolan in first, Chris Mefford in second, Nicky Z in the 93 in third, Andrew Hill in fourth, Peyton Johnson in fifth, Dustin German in sixth, Chad Meadows in seventh, Phil Otto is in eighth, T. Ray Radford as they go green.
Chris Mefford with a very aggressive move getting around JP, but pushes up high, and Ryan Nolan back in front. Chris Mefford with a very, very aggressive move, and that almost worked out for him, but we've got something going on out back. That's Peyton Johnson in the 85 with a spin. We're back under yellow again. These guys are just pushing too hard.
And it looks like the number 3 got into the back of Peyton Johnson in that 86 machine, or 85 machine, that caused him to go all over the place. That's kind of unfortunate there.
These guys are pushing like it's going to be the last lap, and if they keep going the way they are, it's going to end up the same way it started under yellow. It's been a very, very long race. Tempers are definitely flaring. The admins are going to have a tough night of it. I'm sure they're probably going to want to take a timeout and just kind of watch the whole race over again. It's probably the best course of action. I'm expecting to see a couple of penalties probably from tonight. Although, you know, it's hard to penalize people if they've just been kind of bitten by the internet bug.
It's definitely going to be tough on the admins, Chris. They are going to have to rewatch it. One of the rules here at Racing for a Cause, we allow our admins to have 48 hours to make any decisions on penalties and whatnot. Like you said, the first few cautions here tonight are because of iRacing issues. Nothing that we can do to control their servers, so that's kind of unfortunate. But they definitely going to have some reviewing to do this week.
Want to put it out there again. Thank you to our viewers. And August 3rd and 4th, the Dog Days 250, brought to you by Racing for a Cause. 250 laps over at Bristol. It's going to be a charity race. Top 3 finishers are in the money. Half the money that we collect going to the top 3 finishers. Half the money going to their causes that they represent. Their charities, rather. So it's going to be a good time. August 3rd and 4th. That's the Dog Days 250 at Bristol International Speedway.
That's going to be a great event, Chris. We have a lot of good sponsors. One thing that I'm really excited about is that we're going to have Chad Dalton of the iRacing Today radio show out there with us. It's going to be interesting. Those guys definitely gave us a big boost there, on their last podcast, so that was pretty cool to hear.
As the cars line up 2 by 2, hopefully this is going to be the last restart of this race. trying to get back under green flag conditions and hopefully finish that way. We're probably going to have 2 laps to go when we come back to green, and trying to wrap things up here at Michigan at this track. It's just the paperclip is biting tonight.
You know, it was a tough race in the late models too, Chris. Now we got these faster, heavier cars here, more horsepower, so it is going to get interesting.
And right off the get-go, you see it again. The second time, Chris Meffert lost traction, and it's causing wrecks all the way down that front stretch. That's the race right there. Ryan Nolan is going to be your winner in the 78 car. There's no coming back from that right now. Nicky Z in the 93. He's going to be coming home in second. Joshua Spalding is going to be... No, Troy Radford is going to be called your third-place finisher. And that is the race. That's no good. That's not the way we wanted to finish this one at all. Man, oh man. Nonetheless, though, the 78 car, Ryan Nolan, did not start on the lead. Has led 35 laps so far. Is going to be your winner tonight. Here at Racing for a Cause, man, Michigan has just absolutely beat up on every single car out there.
Yeah, definitely not the way that they wanted to end it, Chris. It is unfortunate. I know these guys like to try to race towards the green flag and then the white flag and then the checkered, but it's definitely not happening tonight, unfortunately.
Kobe checking in, saying good job to Ryan getting the win with a big yes on that. And yeah, anybody who can finish this race, I'm going to say it right now, good job there. You see a lot of beat up cars. Ryan Nolan, your winner. Nicky Z in the 93 going to come home second tonight. And Troy Radford, that's your third place finisher. There's your top 3. Ryan Nolan, probably one of the cleaner cars out there right now. Wow. Thank you very much for the sub. Really do appreciate it. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Racing for a Cause TV. Going to be bringing you Monday and Wednesday night Racing for a Cause action. Monday nights, obviously, right now, the K&N cars. A throwback to the 1997 series. Wednesday night brings you our Premier Series, that late model series that we've been running for 3 seasons now. And on Friday nights, we bring you TRRL action, Thunder Road Racing League. Man, oh man, we have a lot of action coming up. And yeah, this track has just beaten a bunch of cars up. If this was not virtual, it would be expensive. Nonetheless, right now, boom, your winner, that 78 car, Ryan Nolan. It's gone official. Ryan takes his victory lap. And my boy, who's in the middle of a low, you see him right there, Urbis Games.
Arribas.
Arribas. Oh, well, I can't even pronounce it.
It means something.
Arribas Games has subbed my boy watching us on his tablet. What a race. Man, oh man. Again, tune in Friday night, TRL action. But we've got Monday and Wednesday here, Racing for a Cause. It was a night, bud. It was a night.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it was, you know, we did have some action. We did have a few good green flag laps there going on, and you know, I don't know. It's Martinsville. It's Paperclip. It's short track with big cars, so that's what's going to happen.
Your top 5, Ryan Nolan, Nicky Z in the 93. Hey, we get to learn how to pronounce his last name. T. Roy Radford. Chad Meadows in the 3 car. Joshua Spalding comes home 5th. Big shout out Phil Otto. Phil Otto, first time back in a few weeks. Phil Otto from Australia, bringing it home 6th in the 66 car. Dustin German coming home in 7th. That's the 28. Peyton Johnson 8th in the 85. And JP coming home 9th in the 60 car. Andrew Hill rounds out top 10 in the 77 Folgers car. What a night. What a night. As we get everything together, looking to talk to our top 3. Again, Ryan Nolan, Nicky Z in the 93, Chad Meadows in the 3 car.
I'm not showing Nicky Z anywhere there, Chris.
Yeah, and I just got word Troy Radford, his microphone blew up before the race even started, so we're not going to be able to talk to him. That leaves us with only one driver to talk to, and right now we're going to talk to him. That's the 78 car, Ryan Nolan, a fellow New Englander, a fellow Vermonter. Ryan Nolan, Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy? Ryan, we're going to try one more time because I see you lighting up, but I don't hear a voice. Ryan Nolan, Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy? I've got no voice, Ryan. I've got no voice, bud. Well, now what?
Check, check.
There we go, Ryan Nolan. We're going to try it one more time. Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can right now, bud. Ryan, this is going to be your second win of the series, K&N, Martinsville. Not fun for anybody, but we had to get through it. Little half-mile track. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since I've raced with you guys, so I was just happy to be back in the field here. But yeah, I'm excited that we've got the win. It was definitely a rough race. I tried to keep the fenders on it, but it worked out for us.
Well, you were kind of back and forth all night long, but always towards the top of the field. You ended up leading 37 laps. You had one pit stop, and I got to ask, on that pit stop, did you take 2 or 4?
We were kind of debating when we wanted to pit. I think we were hoping if there was going to be continued cautions with cars going a lap down that we'd pit later. That way we'd have to race with less cars on the lead lap. So we kind of waited towards the end, but at that point I took 4 tires, and I think everyone else took 4. Steve had a really good stop, and unfortunately he had some bad luck in the while leading with the steering wheel. But the rest of the race we were just able to capitalize on that.
It's definitely tough, Ryan, but you did a good job. You started third, you finished the race in first, so congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, and I want to thank you guys for putting this series on. It still amazes me. We've got a huge amount of cars in this series. Races are really good, and race against some good guys. I thank my teammate Andrew Hill and my family who's actually here watching the race, and appreciate you guys broadcasting that, and we look forward to next week.
Well, we do too, because next week, Talladega, oh my goodness, we're going to a plate track. Ryan Nolan, congratulations again on your win in the 78 car, a fellow Vermonter, and we love to see it happen. That's your winner, Ryan Nolan, here tonight in the 78. Rick, it was about what we thought it was going to be. It's short track racing, tempers flaring, it's tires spinning, action happening all over the track. Oh my lord.
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, it's a tough track to race anyway, and you know, the guys all in all did a pretty good job. Got to do a little bit of give and take, and especially on this track, I mean, it's tough. So, you know, the iRacing issues definitely didn't hurt. I'm now having computer issues in my computer, so I don't know what's going on, but definitely want to thank all the viewers that came out, thank all the drivers that came out tonight after a week off. Not the way that they want to start it, but hey, we'll do it again at Langley on Wednesday. Yeah,
and I see right now, actually, we have our third place finisher of Chad Meadows in that 3 car. Chad Meadows, I want to make sure to get a talk in with him real quick. Chad, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, bud. It was a tough race for you, I know. We kind of saw a couple of things going on. You bring that 3 car home in 3rd place. How was the track and how was the run for you tonight?
It started out ugly. I got spun before we got the start of the green because I missed a shift, and then I ended up in like 2 to 3 other wrecks. I'm just not that good at this track. Just got lucky, I guess.
Well, you definitely did a good job, bud. Congratulations. Everybody out there you want to thank?
Me, myself, and my sponsors, I guess.
There you go.
Keeping it quick, keeping it easy. Chad Meadows in the 3 car, bringing it home 3rd. Chad, we appreciate you coming out tonight, and great run for you. I really do appreciate that. Guys, this has been Racing for a Cause TV, and again, I can't thank all of our viewers enough. I can't thank all of our drivers enough. Tonight was a rough race, and we understand that. We hope to bring you some really good action Wednesday night. And, of course, remember, Friday night TRRL action. But the biggest thing to remember right now, the Dog Days 250 coming at you August 3rd and 4th. August 3rd, going to be qualifying runs. The race going to be August 4th. That's a charity run Racing for a Cause is putting on. And I can't thank all the people behind the scenes putting that on. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. And I just can't thank everybody enough. Rick, next week, Monday night, Talladega.
You can say that again.
Rick, next week, Talladega.
I'll be away from my keyboard on that day, and there will be a special car, a new member that we have coming, Mickey Bamman Jr., and the number 8 will be riding around.
Rick Hammond Jr. trying to figure out a way to get the 8 car out on the track. Hey, listen, for Racing for a Cause TV, I'm Chris, that's Rick, and we really do appreciate you guys for coming out tonight. It's been a heck of a night here at Martinsville, and we can't wait to do it again Wednesday night. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.